Namaskar and Jai Hind. It's been 2 decades of this work which we started, on a very, very basic issue of clothing. And the whole idea, to be honest, was that how do you really take care of some of the basic, absolute ignored issues, and in our language we call it non-issue. If I go back to the issue of clothing or the non-issue of clothing just in a minute, and I can tell you that when you talk about 3 basic needs of humankind, you say roti, kapda, makan, food, cloth and shelter. But what we later notice, out of 150 issues, literally from domestic violence to global warming, and now obviously the COVID and the displacement added in a much bigger way, you will never find clothing written as a subject. So first, the visible sign of poverty has never been a subject of development. And most importantly, when we started, the whole idea was that why do we actually wait for a human made or for a natural disaster? Because at the end of the day, poverty is one of the biggest ongoing disaster, and half the world actually does not need a disaster. And post-COVID, the situation has certainly become worse across the globe, not only in India. And I remember my interaction with a family of the dead body pickers who used to pick up these unclaimed dead bodies on the roads of Old Delhi, and how the little daughter of that family actually literally shook me when she said that when I feel cold, I hug the dead body and sleep. And I couldn't understand, I couldn't relate, but I think that was the journey, that was the starting of a journey rather, which is in the direction of non-issues, in the direction of certain things which are taken for granted. And in our work, we also realize that one of the important things which is taken for granted is actually dignity. Charity takes away dignity of people, and without dignity, you cannot talk about any development. 98 informally, 99 informally, we just started working on something called clothing, and the urban discard, which is a pain for people, and it's very easy to call anything second-hand which we give to people a donation. And we wanted to challenge that entire thought process. We said that if you are giving old clothes, utensil, footwear, whatever, and you're calling it a donation, to be honest, that's the wrong thing to do, because anything which we've already used for a year or two, with what right do we call it a donation? It's actually, we are giving it. It is a discard for us now, and we are giving it. And we rather need to be thankful to the people who are using our second-hand material, because they give a second life to something on which we spend our hard-earned money, and we are very emotionally attached. And then the other major issue for us was that how do we really keep the dignity intact? How do we make the giving dignified? So in a very simple model, almost 6,000 tons, which is about 6 million kgs now, material is collected, cloth, utensil, footwear to door, windows or whatever. It goes through a very rigorous process of matching the needs of people, because one of the biggest problem with donation mindset is that you give what you have, you don't give what people need. And we have to wear the lenses of people for whom we are trying to work. I think that's what we just tried to do in our work. So this entire material in very beautifully made family kits and various other kits goes to the people, especially in rural India. And rural India is basically using its own lenses, its own language. They find out what is the problem which is bothering them. So a village says that village well needs to be repaired. The other one says the water body needs to be repaired. Someone says the road needs to be made. And this is how these almost 7,000 such projects are taken up in parts of rural India, as remote as possible, as tribal as possible, faraway places, disaster prone areas. So people use their own wisdom, people use their own resources, work on the issues which are heart pressing for them, and then with a lot of dignity, with a lot of respect, they receive this material. So what has happened in the last 2 decades? A, the giving is dignified. B, the barter economy is revived with 2 new currencies. On one part, it is the urban discard or the underutilized material, and on the other part, it is the rural wisdom and rural resources, and obviously the rural workforce. So it is basically the genesis of an alternate or an additional or a parallel economy, which is not just cash based but also trash based. We have also focused in changing the language. I mean, we do not want to use the word beneficiary and donors. We need to treat people as a stakeholder. This is what we've been saying, that the people who made house for us remained homeless, and the people who have been growing rice for us, in our data everywhere we start calling them beneficiary, without understanding that I am a constant beneficiary of someone who has made house for me, and I am a constant beneficiary of someone who has been growing rice for me. So I am just hoping that this particular virus will make a dent on our thought process. We will come out of this arrogance of knowing everything. We will start calling farmer a skilled person, and not only the people who do innovation on papers, or people like us who wear good clothes and have access to best possible and have access to best possible universities and a lot of other people. And I really appreciate that this recognition has happened exactly at the right time, because this is one absolutely replicable model. This is one model which needs to be copied, and then it needs to be localized anywhere in the world. And in every economy it can work. Maybe the scale might be different. If a model has experimented a lot in this country, I am pretty sure that many other nations can certainly take it up in a big way. Thank you very much. All the best.